Welcome to Uncertified Overthinker, the corner of the internet where we complicate simple things. It's me again, overthinking so you don't have to. Let's spiral together for a few minutes, shall we? So I got this email recently, a very official looking notice telling me my loan was past due and had been escalated to a debt collection agency. And when I say official looking, it had everything: the correct address, the agency name, phone number, formatting, and all of it checked out. I did my basic research. It wasn't until further research and investigation that I was able to confirm that this was highly likely a scam. I'm usually extremely cautious about scams, but this one made me pause. I almost believed it, and I don't usually almost believe these things. That moment basically bothered me into a spiral of self dissection. Not about the scam, about me. How do I usually respond to scam? How's this one different that it almost got me? Why do I normally ignore stuff like this so easily? Would someone else have fallen to the scam? Why would they? So let's just start with how I typically react to suspicious contacts. The answer is simple: I ignore them. Unknown numbers and shady emails, I don't pick up, I don't respond. My vibe is basically, if it's actually real and important, they will somehow find me. Like, if it were a kidnapping and they actually wanted ransom, they wouldn't give up just because I declined the call once, right? Real problems are persistent. Fake ones usually aren't. That's my philosophy. A few years ago, one same number kept calling me for months. When I finally picked up, they told me they're a collection agency and I had unpaid debt. I do have lots of debts. Yes. Could me being me have missed something? Maybe. So I didn't discredit them immediately. I asked, okay, what debt? How much? Since when? And who am I if you're calling me? They essentially responded with, we can't tell you those confidential information until you verify your identity with your social security number. Privacy protection, you know? I laughed and said, sure, I'm totally going to hand over my SSN to a stranger who won't even tell me how much I owed them. I guess that only meant you didn't really want me to pay up. So I hung up and waited. If it were real, they find me some other way. A letter, a lawsuit, a police officer at my door, something. Instead, the calls eventually stopped. It's been years. Life is fine. Mystery solved. So, when this latest scam nearly got me, it made me pause and think, if someone as cynical and cautious like me almost fell for this, what about people who don't think like me? So I started to look at way my brain reacts compared to how other people's brain react. For starters, my brain doesn't activate urgency easily. Most scams rely on panic and pressure. That's the whole point. They're designed to make you react before you think. But my brain has this weird setting where it just doesn't enter urgent mode unless multiple pieces of evidence line up. One scary headline? Not enough. One government official, quote unquote, on the phone? Not enough. One urgent action needed email? Also not enough. What actually happens is my brain runs a silent checklist against how the world actually works. If it's not consistent, it gets filed under noise. I think in anchors, not stories. A lot of people fall for a scam because the story feels believable. The emotional flow is convincing. The urgency feels real. But my brain doesn't even notice the story, it notices the structure. I check for specific markers: institutional behavior, my payment history, appropriate method of contact. If even one anchor point is off, my brain throws out the entire thing. A recent example outside of scams actually helped me understand this better. Last month, I got lost in a maze like structure with my boss trying to find our parking garage. She remembered the path, all the turns, all the hallways, and tried to retrace everything. I remembered none of that, so I just followed her lead and made polite, questioning noises when I thought she went the wrong way. Not surprisingly, we got lost. If you ask how I knew she went the wrong way if I didn't remember the path,
That's because I remembered three key anchor points, if nothing else: the white sky bridge, the elevator that only goes to floor three, and the hotel parking sign positioned directly in front of our car. And that's my whole brain in stress scenarios. I don't need the full narrative, just the right signals to tell me if something is off. Another part of this is that I tolerate uncertainty. I don't interpret ambiguity as danger. I'm happy to just wait or forget. Because again, if something is real, it will reappear loudly across multiple channels in ways that are impossible to ignore. That calmness alone diffuses most scam tactics. Now, on the flip side, why do other people react so differently? Some people's threat response activates instantly. Unknown equals danger, uncertainty equals fear. They want closure now, and scammers knows this. Some people were raised to respect official sounding voices. Some people are route style thinkers, like my boss, who are more likely to get pulled along by the story and the emotional arc. Are they simply more gullible then? Not necessarily. It's just that today, the most common everyday scams have been designed to target these specific types of thinking. Every cognitive style has a vulnerability. Emotional thinkers fall for fear based scams. Logical thinkers fall for well structured system scams. Optimists fall for opportunity scams. People pleasers fall for compliance scams. Lonely people fall for relationship scams. And anyone, absolutely anyone, can be vulnerable under the right conditions. It only takes one bad day. Which brings me back to myself. People like me are not immune. I'm only resistant to one category: panic based, breathless, urgent threats. The act now or else type. But I have my own weak spots, the ones that build trust over weeks, the beautifully formatted fake dashboards. Those are the ones tailored for brains like mine. All of us have psychological doors. Some are locked to certain techniques and wide open to others.
That is all for today. If your brain feels pleasantly heavier, mission accomplished. This is your host, C. Thanks for overthinking with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.